Kia ora and welcome along to the Met Service severe weather update for Friday. We've already seen a band of heavier rain running through Northland and Auckland earlier this morning. That's carrying on its journey out towards the east, but you can see what's been causing this weather. We look at the satellite picture, this swirl of cloud off of our western coast, that corridor of cloud wrapping around an area of low pressure, and that's set to bring more strong winds as we head in towards the rest of Friday afternoon and particularly through in towards Saturday. And so we are looking at a pretty unsettled start to the weekend. If we have a look at the pressure charts, you can see why. That low pressure wrapping around that really strong winds. Heavy rainfall still weather through the Bay of Plenty, those northern parts of Tairāwhiti as we head through Friday afternoon. That eases for a time. But you can see we also have that heavy rainfall feeding down towards those northern parts of the Southland. So there is a heavy rain warning as well for those western parts of the Nelson Tasman area. So we are looking at some heavy rainfall just being forced through there, but really it's this area of low pressure which is set to move across the North Island as we head through towards Saturday, set to bring more strong winds right the way from, say, Northland down towards Taranaki, across that central part of the country, and even in towards, like, so say, Hawke's Bay as we head through the afternoon on Saturday. But really strong winds wrapping around that, a fair bit of wet weather in towards places like Whanganui. So we have got plenty of severe weather watches in place across most of the North Island and a few warnings here and there as well. You'll see here as we go through the daytime today, those watches and warnings clear away from that far northern and eastern part of the country. As we go through towards Saturday, we'll start to find those watches coming up across the North Island, and later in the day on, say, Saturday, in towards the likes of, say, Taihape, Taranui, and across in towards Hawke's Bay as well. But it is an evolving situation, and we are looking at some pretty strong winds with us. So we have got plenty of watches which cover most of the North Island. So as we start off up in the far northern parts, we have that watch from the end of this afternoon, 3 p.m. on Friday, through towards the early hours of Saturday for the likes of Northland. It may be worth saying that we could find this watch is extended as we head through towards Saturday afternoon. So do keep a close eye on these forecasts as those winds will pick back up again. Westerly gales, perhaps even reaching severe gale in the most exposed areas. Similar story for the likes of, say, Auckland. Those westerly winds really ramping up as we head through in towards Saturday. That watch from 9 a.m. to about 9 p.m. on Saturday itself. A really windy story, and a similar story out towards the Coromandel as well. Although the watch should ease off for a time today, we may well find those westerly winds picking back up. So there could be a watch issued for you as we head through towards Saturday afternoon. Heading down towards the Bay of Plenty, the first thing we've got to do is get rid of that heavy rainfall from today. So we have a watch and warning, a watch for that heavy rainfall and those stronger northerly winds until 3 p.m. today on Friday. We may well find those winds picking back up again on Saturday, so do keep a close eye on those watches as we go through Saturday. Similarly out towards this eastern coast, some heavy rainfall for the likes of those northern parts of Tairāwhiti, north of Tolaga Bay. Again, most of the heavy rainfall about the tops of the ranges, and that should ease off as we head through the night time tonight, but there could well be more watches issued tomorrow for those stronger winds as we head through towards Saturday. So do keep a close eye on those watches and warnings. This western side of the North Island could find some pretty strong winds tomorrow. Again, winds reaching gale force, perhaps even severe gale in the most exposed areas. Gusts of wind, 80 to 90 kilometres an hour, not out of the question at all for places like Waikato, Waitomo, down towards Taranaki, perhaps even a little bit higher in the most exposed areas. There is also a rain watch for the likes of Mount Taranaki, Taranaki-Maunga itself, but I think we are going to find the bulk of our issues as we go through Saturday will be those stronger winds, which are going to be sticking with us as we go through the daytime. Those watches there you can see from, say, Saturday afternoon through and towards the early hours of Sunday. And similarly, we're going to find the watches start a little bit earlier from, like, say, Taranaki. We're from around about 9 o'clock or so this afternoon, this evening, from Friday right the way through in towards Saturday evening as well. Heading across towards those more central parts of the North Island and out towards the east, we'll find those winds increasing as we go through the afternoon on Saturday, and still pretty blustery right the way through in towards Sunday there, 9 a.m. on Sunday. So we are going to find some stronger, again, westerly winds squeezing around those mountains. So a really unsettled story as we head through the weekend there. Do keep an eye on those severe weather watches. They may be upgraded to warnings, but generally, I think gusts 80 to 90 kilometres an hour, not out of the question at all. And I think really an unsettled story. With these kind of winds and all that really wet ground, we could well find things like damage to trees or perhaps some power lines, and it will make driving conditions that little bit more hazardous. So do take extra care and extra time on the roads through Saturday. We've not forgotten about the South Island. We have still got that rain feeding through on towards those northern parts of the South Island, particularly those areas west of Motueka in the Tasman district. Another bout of rain coming through there, 130 to 160 millimetres of rain, coupled with some thunderstorms, which could be fairly intense as well, all adding it to that mix. So a pretty unsettled looking story there. And the icing on the cake, well, those stronger winds will also generate some fairly high seas and rough conditions around the coastal parts of the western side of New Zealand as well. So definitely worth keeping that in mind if you're anywhere down towards the coast as well. But plenty going on this weekend, especially those stronger winds. So please do keep up to date with the severe weather watches and warnings. And as always, you can find all that information at metservice.com.